Hi, good afternoon, Capricorn. This read is for you for June 2020. And I like to try to get all the 12 signs in every now and again. And I thought June would be a good time to do that because we've got these eclipses coming up in June. We have two, and that causes a lot of change and shifts and crises, maybe. If we're not on the right path, it can show up as a crisis to put us on the right path. And so I do like to think that these reads pertain to whatever planet you hold in that sign and whatever house that sign covers. Um, your sun, your moon, most importantly for your ascendant, because I align my notes to it. So let's take a look for Capricorn for June 2020. And we start out at the beginning of the month with the sun in your sixth house in Gemini. So possibly a lot of writing, communication, strategizing on day-to-day routine, day-to-day habits, or possibly day-to-day communication around. I would think that with the sun in Gemini in the sixth house, you're exploring and learning different, probably ways to readjust your day-to-day routine around a small business or around work, possibly around communication and work. Then in the mid-month, we transit to when the sun transits into Cancer in your seventh house. That's going to be on the 20th or 21st. And that's going to be at about the same time Mercury goes direct in the sign of Cancer. And that is also around the eclipse, the Cancer eclipse. So Capricorn, you're going to have the sun in your seventh house at the time that that solar eclipse comes in your first house at 0 degrees Cancer. So that's going to be a very powerful time for you, Cancer. I think if you're single, you're going to possibly end up, because this is a culmination, so you may lock in a relationship at this point, and then at the end of the month, end of June. And if you're already in your divine partnership relationship, you will probably become more, shall we say, cleared up of past issues. You may step up the relationship to a more committed and intimate way. Or it could also be small businesses. A contract with a business partner. That could have been, okay? And then we have Mercury in direct in your seventh house until it turns retrograde. So communication at the beginning of the month with contracts, business partners, or romance, but close seventh house is close personal or business relationships with contracts, right? So possibly communications around relationships. It's in the sign of Cancer. Again, possibly healing communication and healing issues in these relationships. Talking in close partnerships with business relationships as well, and maybe romantic ones. So there's going to be, and then when it goes into retrograde, possibly issues from the past are coming up to be between the two of you to be re-talked about, revisited, and healed, because it's in the sign of Cancer. So that's a very healing, compassionate, calm energy. Then we've got Venus in the sign of Gemini in your guys' sixth house in retrograde. So projects, day-to-day projects from the past, work from the past, and possible relationships connected to that coming back in early June to be revisited, re-looked at, and they bring money. It's going to be your soul's truth because it's retrograde, so these are more truthful experiences. So it'll probably put you on a course with a divine lover that shifts your day-to-day life, or that involves day-to-day routine with relationships from the past. And health. Sixth house is also health, so maybe health projects, and this is in the sign of Gemini. So communication, small businesses, projects, and strategizing. Then we've got Mars in your third house. You see, that's small business, right? Communication. That's a Gemini energy, the third house. So that's around communications, businesses, and shall we say, could be writing. And sibling, neighborhood, the community, the local community, projects around that, and that's going to be in the sign of Pisces. So I would say that there's going to be some sort of channeling or some kind of higher, connecting with a sort of higher vision around projects that involve community, communication, small businesses. Then we've got Jupiter in the first house, in your guys' first house, in retrograde. So I would think whatever is in your true soul's path's destiny to serve and to help the world progress spiritually on a higher consciousness level type of an energy in your first house, indicating sort of financial projects going forward, possibly with also a new spiritual identity about yourself, but also a new motive, a whole general new motive about being more spiritual or more higher calling or higher consciousness, right? So then we've got and that's going to, because then we get to Saturn in retrograde in your second house. So that's going to be sort of revisiting financial projects that are very career centered, and that's in the sign of Aquarius. So it could be possibly bringing these things out more into, but remember it's in retrograde, so it's revisiting ways to bring soulful truths or career that are really your true destiny for the long haul, how to sort of reestablish and restructure it so that you can actually make money at it. And it's going to involve social media or the Aquarius, because it's in the sign of Aquarius. So how does this project fit in with the sort of expansion of everybody's careers through social media, pretty much, because we've got Saturn in Aquarius, right? Uranus in your fourth house, so in the sign of Taurus, so expansion of money, fifth house, creative projects coming forward in the next 7 years, emancipating, sort of releasing creative projects that bring you finances that will probably, because that's in Uranus, it's a 7-year cycle or so. So soon these projects, these are creative, a creative project is going to be grounded and and sort of established, that will take a while to really create its ultimate state where it does create the most abundant financial attraction from it. That makes sense. So this project is in process, okay? Because Taurus has been in Capricorn. In Taurus. Uranus has been in Taurus since 2018. So it might just be 5 more years, 6 more years that it's in Taurus for. So there's a creative project brewing that will go out into public, into the social media, that will be socially revolutionary, that also financially supports and creates good foundation structure for your finances in the long haul. And we have Pluto in your first house. So that is your karma shedding, all these sort of illusionary, statusy, shall we say, ideas about who you are and about who you have to be as a Capricorn, and about how successful you have to look, and how productive you have to be, and all these sort of very Capricornian, we must, which is a very positive, strong thing. But what's happening for Capricorn with that Pluto thing is there's an alignment to what's true, like a truth for you in that. So it's like, it's no longer trying to appeal to a status or to a public opinion, but to become your truth. And then that truth becomes very impressive in the status, does give you status, because your truth is of that quality. So there's sort of a discovery of the fact that you don't have to pretend or seek external validations, that your truth of who you are as a Capricorn is enough, because that's a very powerful sign. It's a very strong, it's the goat, it succeeds, it goes up the mountain. A lot of qualities about Capricorn bring you tremendous success in the long haul, and it's a very powerful energy. So with retrograde in your first house, it's coming back to be the real you, your soul's truth. Okay, let's go on now to the North Node in your 6th house. Again, letting go of a day-to-day routine way of living, again, that echoes the Mars energy, right? No, it echoes the Venus energy, your North Node. So that is kind of releasing old ways of everyday living, your day-to-day, establishing a new way of day-to-day living, releasing beliefs, 3rd house, becoming more deliberate about your day-to-day, because the 3rd house, you're releasing 3rd house, which is more sort of falling into a routine that's sort of just convenient. But now you're going to shift into creating a routine that enables better communication in your life, better health, and discovery of new beliefs and things that alter your day-to-day routine life, and maybe job too, work too, and health. you're going to become more diligent about health practices that are day-to-day, that help you on a day-to-day, and routines that help you on a day, that help you because they're done day-to-day. Okay, so then we get this moon in your 12th house. Again, that's that full moon on the 5th in your 12th house in the sign of Sagittarius. Wow, if that's not going to be a complete ending of the way that you see in a belief system. Because you're letting this is an eclipse in your 12th house. There's going to be a complete slate clean of the way you see things, and that's going to change your life on a day-to-day basis. And then we get that full moon solar eclipse in the sign of Cancer in your 7th house of relationships. So I'm going to say you're going to materialize your fated, best destined relationship. This is the end of that journey that started at the beginning of this eclipse cycle, and now you're going to arrive at the end of some sort of karmic clearing in order to align with a relationship. So let's have a look for Capricorn. Calling in Capricorn, highest guides and angels to be with us in this read. And thank you, by the way, for watching, and welcome to my channel. And if you would like a personal read, my email link is below. I do my reads on FaceTime, and I prefer that. I know some people do reads and they email them, but people have so many questions, and I like to interact and explore all the answers. All right, so this is for Capricorn for June 2020, and Capricorn is the 10th house. We'll chop it up. I like to cut the deck in the amount of numbers of the house, but 10 times is too much. So I changed that. I changed my mind about that. 1, 2, 3. We'll just do it a bunch of times. There we go. For Capricorn, Queen of Wands, that's that creative 5th house project we were talking about in Uranus. Justice, letting go. That karma is being very clear, by the way, too, with those. What didn't I say? Jupiter was in Capricorn? I didn't mention that Jupiter was in Capricorn. So it's almost like there's a clearing of karma with that Pluto in Capricorn in your 1st house at the same time that you're initiating seeds of a new, more higher calling, more higher consciousness, destiny. Okay? So, so far, major arcanas, we have 2, Justice and Hangman. Wow, the devil is hitting in the 11th spot of the read. That's really powerful because that Sagittarius eclipse is definitely going to end clearing karma in relationships. And it's the case for Sagittarius as well. You know, these energies, all these planets in all the different signs are kind of doing the same thing. And there's just a slightly different variation of it going on for everybody. But everybody's kind of falling into a soul's truth and stepping up to a higher consciousness calling and career mission. On the whole, not every single person, but on the whole, right? Things seem to be shifting that way because that's what astrology sort of tells us is what's happening on the whole. Okay. We start out with the fire sign feminine, so that would be a creative, energetic feminine with the Justice card in the head spot of my read, indicating, and then we get the Knight of Swords, finding peace. So knowing that something has ended. Now, Justice card represents clearing karma, but it can also mean releasing fears, being balanced. A situation that you had to leave. I mean, this is in your heart space. And this is the Knight of Swords exiting really quickly out of your heart space, finding peace. In order to restore peace, Divine says moving on from this is in alignment because this threw you out of alignment and kept you depleted, emptied you of your energies. It was a burden. We get this burden card. Then we get communication. Now I'm thinking this is karmic. I'm thinking in June 2020, because Cancer, if you think about it, this Cancer full moon on the 21st, its axis is Capricorn. So if Cancer's, if it's going to initiate new relationships, there's going to be a massive release of karmic lesson, relationships that were here for karmic lessons. We get the Queen of Swords. Look at that. Upside down, 7 of Swords. I don't really do reversals, but when they come out, I see it as a deliberate attempt from the universe to make a point. So I try to listen to it. definitely an interesting read. I mean, these are heavy cards, but it's not at all a negative read. It really indicates the ending of, there's definitely an understanding for Capricorn energies about how to let go and how to release, because we get this hangman. Capricorns have spent a lot of time throwing themselves out of alignment for relationships that were ego-based and that they held on to because they felt that their security or their safety or their, shall we say, what they thought was God. So we held on, you know, because I've got Capricorn planets, I've got Cancer in my ascendant, I have Capricorn over my 7th house. So this would indicate, again, very similar message to what I have for Sagittarius, which is the ending. But I think it's interesting because this is hitting in my 11th spot of the read. This is a deep clearing of karmic in general. I mean, I'm going to say for the whole life of the, because Capricorn this is the card of Capricorn. It's the, it is karma clearing. Trauma experiences coming through your psyche, clearing out from your past lives, right? So that quitting, the Queen of Swords next to this card indicates quitting things that aren't true, things that, because this card upside right is a deception, upside down would be knowing that it's a lie, knowing that it's bad, deceptions that aren't good. So, well, not that they would ever be good, but sometimes the cards communicate to us that we can't see something and it uses that card. So it doesn't necessarily mean it's negative, but in this case it's not seeing, it's understanding the deceptiveness in some of the motives for some relationships and understanding that that's not the reason to hold relationships, that they need to be relationships that you can balance into and create a certain harmony with. You're ending a sort of debt, a karmic debt towards feeling like you owe in dynamics. And that's a karmic thing because if you feel like you're dependent on relationships, you always want to make sure, you know, you feel like indebted or something, there's going to be an imbalance and it's going to play out in a crisis. So it's almost like Capricorn are ending, becoming balanced about how to have a like this becomes the Capricorn importance, no longer the sort of the status and the legacy isn't so much the focus now. Look at that. The Capricorn wants this harmony home, and they don't want to leave their peaceful inner state anymore in order to karmically hold making over efforting in relationships because you feel either a certain emptiness, but also that kind of creates a cycle. That's kind of a cycle that you hold on to relationships that aren't really for your highest best, and you're holding on to them out of fear because of possibly not feeling like you can financially or security. This card often represents attachment to something that you feel secure with, and then the burden of this is ending. You know the thinking that is ending that puts you in burdensome relationships, and you're becoming aware of what you need to do to be in alignment, which is to also set really strong boundaries to situations that aren't honest, but to situations that you're becoming clear about what's real and what's good. I think you may have felt a bit used. It's possible, but you're definitely letting go, Capricorn, of relationships that are not in alignment with your heart space. You're really taking a big escape. I'm out of here kind of energy. And but even if you're in a relationship and it's your divine partner and this energy is showing up in your life, it can be that you're just not willing to relate to your partner on this level anymore, that you want to be honest and you want to end fears around how people see you or how you're doing on an externalized level. That is a burden you want to release out of your life so that you can resonate at a more in alignment energy. So that's kind of what Capricorn are doing to become more in alignment. Now here's this creative project, 3rd house. So basically, you're aligning more with creative projects rather than with projects that you feel like you need to do, either to hold relationships together or to not be someone who's abandoned a situation, to sort of all these external reasons. Instead, you're going towards cooperating with stuff that absolutely is creatively in alignment for you and is emotionally fulfilling. It's almost like that's almost all you want, because you have a certain trust now that everything else has been kind of karmically motivated. So let's pull out, this is a long one. Well, Capricorn's got a lot going on. Very close to achieving your goal. Communication is key, okay? So what we're seeing is letting go of relationships that you can't communicate honestly and show up in honestly in. And then you're very close to achieving your goals. So I would think for Capricorn, you've cleared a lot of karma. You know, a lot of people come in this planet, in this life, on this time, as Capricorns to clear a lot of trauma karma in your soul. Because of these astrological placements are so heavy in Capricorn, we're really releasing a lot of fear karma. Personal issues reaches resolution. Full moon in Cancer on the 21st. Wow. Ending karmic attachments, understanding that you really want to motivate from an internal place, and you believe now that you can achieve a height with that is of Capricorn. Your dreams need a practical plan, so you're just going to have to sort of do your Capricorn magic on stuff that's in your heart, that's emotionally in alignment with you, that's divinely guided for you, that takes you to your the highest peak in your life. All right, Capricorn. Hope this read was luck is on your side. New moon Sagittarius coming up. That's next week. Something very good will happen. Possibly having to let go, though, of negative thoughts, negative ideas that burden you, that throw you into relationships that are karmic. All right. Thank you so much, Capricorn, for watching. Hope you enjoyed that. Namaste.